I always thought she was different. You know that feeling when you meet someone and everything just clicks? That's exactly how it was with me and Jessica. We met at a friend's birthday dinner about 8 months ago, and from the moment she smiled at me across the table, I was done for. She was beautiful in a quiet way, long dark hair, soft eyes, and this calm confidence that made her stand out. She wasn't loud or attention-seeking like some of the girls I dated before. I genuinely thought she was special. For months I spoiled her. Expensive dinners, weekend trips out of town, designer bags, you name it. I work in IT consulting, and with a stable 6-figure income, spending on her never really felt like a burden. It felt good to see her happy. Every time I handed her something new, she would smile wide, kiss me on the cheek, and say, "You always take care of me, babe." And I loved hearing that. But slowly, I started noticing little things. She was always on her phone, giggling and typing away. Whenever I asked what was so funny, she'd say, "Just memes with my girls." I wanted to believe her. Then one night, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the bed beside me. Normally, I would never check her phone, I'm not that kind of guy, but the notification said, "New private story," from Snapchat, and curiosity got the better of me. I opened it and froze. There she was, standing in front of a full-length mirror in the same apartment I paid for, wearing the new dress I bought her just last week. The caption read, "Spending his money while thinking of my ex." My chest tightened, and for a moment, I didn't even know how to breathe. Everything in me wanted to confront her right then and there, scream, ask her why she would do this. But instead, I closed the app and sat there, staring at the wall. That night, I barely slept. I lay awake thinking about every dinner, every gift, every sweet moment that now felt like a lie. By morning, my sadness had burned away, replaced by something colder. Something decisive. So I let her keep spending. I didn't say a word. For the next few days, she was happily tapping away on my credit card, thinking she was winning. What she didn't know was that every single transaction she made, I reported as fraudulent. The bank flagged my account, froze every pending charge, and started an investigation. When she woke up trying to pay for her coffee and her card got declined, she texted me frantically, "Babe, something's wrong with the bank." I didn't reply. I was already at my office, sitting calmly at my desk, feeling a strange sense of relief. By the time she got back to the apartment that afternoon, her keycard didn't work. Because I was done. I watched from the Ring camera as she tried to open the door, confusion turning into panic. That was the moment I realized, some lessons need to be taught the hard way. But what happened after that? Well, you'll want to hear the rest of it. She stood there outside the apartment door for a long time, trying her keycard again and again. I watched on my phone from the Ring app as she began knocking softly at first, then harder. She even called my name a few times, her voice shaky. "Babe, open up. Please, I don't know what's happening." But I didn't move. I sat there at my desk in the office, staring at my phone screen, feeling a deep emptiness inside. It wasn't satisfying like I thought it would be. It just felt heavy. While she stood outside, probably wondering what went wrong, memories kept playing in my head. I remembered the first time she stayed over. We ordered sushi, watched a bad Netflix comedy, and she fell asleep with her head on my chest. That night I had smiled to myself, thinking, this is it, this is someone I could build a life with. Looking back now, it felt pathetic how easily I believed her. I thought about the time I took her shopping for her birthday. She wanted a Gucci bag. At first I hesitated because I'd already bought her a necklace and a spa voucher, but when she pouted and said, "Please, baby, I've never had something like that in my life," I gave in. I remembered how, on our 3rd month together, I had this strong feeling she was still texting her ex. I saw his name pop up as a notification on her phone once while she was asleep. When I asked her about it the next day, she burst into tears and said I was being paranoid, that he was just a friend from high school who was checking in because his dad had passed away. She made me feel so guilty for doubting her that I actually apologized and took her out to dinner to make it up to her. Thinking about that now, I felt anger bubbling inside me. I wasn't just angry at her. I was angry at myself for letting it happen. On the Ring camera, she was now sitting against the door, knees pulled up to her chest, staring blankly at the hallway floor. She looked small and lost. Part of me felt a pinch of pity. But then, another part reminded me of that Snapchat story. Spending his money while thinking of my ex. Those words cut deep. I wondered if her ex even cared about her anymore. Or was she just clinging to some old fantasy, using me in the process? My phone buzzed again. Another text from her. "Babe, please, I can't access my bank app. My cards aren't working. I don't know what's going on. Please open the door, I need you." I didn't reply. I closed the app and leaned back in my chair. I thought about all the ways this could play out. Would she try to contact her ex now? Would she call her friends to pick her up? Or would she finally realize that she had burned the only bridge that was keeping her afloat? There was a time when I would have done anything to protect her. Now I just wanted to protect myself. Because if there's one thing I learned from loving her, it's that people will take everything from you if you let them. I didn't know what I was going to do next. I didn't even know if I would ever talk to her again. But as she sat there locked out of everything, her bank, my apartment, and my life, I felt like I was finally waking up from a long, painful dream. What happened after that? Well, it only got messier from here. As I sat there at my desk, pretending to focus on the spreadsheets in front of me, my mind kept drifting back to her sitting outside my apartment door. I imagined her scrolling through her phone, trying to figure out what to do next. Did she realize yet that everything she had been enjoying was gone in a second? My phone buzzed again with a text from her friend Ashley. "Hey, Jessica said she's locked out. Can you let her in? She's freaking out." I didn't reply. Ashley always thought I was too soft. She once joked that Jessica had me wrapped around her little finger. Maybe she was right, until now. The truth was, part of me wanted to hear her side. Was it really about her ex, or was she just trying to look cool online? But then I remembered how she never let me post photos of us together. She'd say, "I just like keeping my life private," while her Snapchat was full of subtle flexes about shopping sprees, new makeup hauls, and weekend getaways, all funded by me. I wondered what her ex thought seeing those posts. Did he feel regret, or was he laughing knowing she was playing someone else to get over him? Meanwhile, in the middle of all this chaos, work kept piling up. My boss called, annoyed I hadn't emailed the updated proposal draft. I apologized and said I was unwell. It was half true. My stomach felt like it was in knots. I kept thinking, what if she comes to my office? What if she makes a scene? Jessica wasn't the dramatic type in public, but people change when they feel cornered. I glanced at my phone again. The last message from her read, "Please, can we just talk? I'm sorry if I did something wrong." But I didn't open it. Because the truth was, I didn't even know what to say anymore. And deep down, I wasn't sure if I wanted to hear her apologies, or if I wanted her to suffer just a little longer. Later that evening, I left work early. I couldn't concentrate anyway. As I drove home, my heart was pounding in my chest. I didn't even know if she would still be there, but deep down, I expected she would be. When I pulled into the parking garage, I sat in my car for a few minutes, gripping the steering wheel. A part of me wanted to drive off and never come back. Another part needed to see her, to look her in the eyes and see if there was even a trace of guilt. When I finally stepped out and walked down the hallway to my apartment, I saw her immediately. She was sitting on the floor beside the door, her makeup smudged, her hair tied up messily, scrolling on her phone with a blank stare. As soon as she saw me, she jumped up, tears welling in her eyes. "Babe, please, can we just go inside and talk? I don't know what's happening." My cards aren't working, my bank isn't letting me log in, and you weren't answering any calls. I didn't say anything. I just stood there, staring at her. Her voice cracked as she spoke again. Please, I'm scared. Did I do something wrong? For a split second, seeing her like that hurt. This was someone I cared about, someone I imagined marrying someday. But then my mind flashed back to that Snapchat story. Spending his money while thinking of my ex. The words echoed in my head, making my jaw tighten. She reached out to touch my arm, but I stepped back. Her face fell, and panic filled her eyes. Please just tell me what's going on. You're scaring me. I didn't reply. I just unlocked the door, pushed it open, and stood aside. Her shoulders relaxed with relief as she stepped inside quickly, thinking everything was fine. But as I closed the door behind us, I knew that nothing would ever be the same again. And what I was about to say next would change both our lives forever. She walked straight to the couch and sat down, burying her face in her hands. I stood near the door, watching her silently. After a few moments, she looked up at me with tears rolling down her cheeks. Please, just tell me what's happening. Why is my bank account frozen? Why weren't you answering me? Did I do something to hurt you? Her voice was trembling. I didn't move closer. I just stared at her and said quietly, Check your phone. Check your Snapchat memories. Her eyes widened with confusion. She unlocked her phone with shaking fingers and scrolled quickly. I could see her hands trembling as she searched for what I was talking about. Then she froze. I knew she found it. That private story captioned spending his money while thinking of my ex. Her lips parted slightly as her breathing quickened. It was just a joke for my private story. Only my girls see it. I didn't mean it. Please, I swear. I shook my head slowly. Was it really just your girls watching? I asked. Her eyes darted away from mine, and she stayed silent. That silence told me everything. Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a notification. She looked down, and her face drained of color. I could see his name, Tyler. Her ex. She quickly flipped her phone over, but I already saw it. My chest burned with anger. So he was watching your stories too? I asked, my voice breaking a little despite trying to stay calm. She shook her head rapidly, tears falling. No, it's not like that. Please believe me. I blocked him ages ago. He must have made a new account to see it. I didn't know. Please, baby, you have to believe me. But I didn't believe her. Because that notification wasn't just a random message. It read, So you finally told him about us? My heart sank. I realized this wasn't just about a stupid Snapchat caption. There was more. So much more. And whatever it was, I was about to find out. She stared at me with wide, desperate eyes, clutching her phone like it was the only thing holding her together. I walked closer, feeling my hands tremble slightly. So you finally told him about us? I repeated Tyler's message aloud. Her lips quivered as she tried to speak, but no words came out. Tears streamed down her face as she shook her head again and again. Please just listen to me, she whispered, her voice breaking. It's not what you think. I never cheated. He's been messaging me for weeks. He knows how to get under my skin. I didn't want to tell you because I knew you'd think the worst. But I swear on everything, I never touched him. I only posted that story to make him jealous. I thought it would make him regret leaving me. Her confession felt like a punch to the gut. Everything she said sounded pathetic and broken. She used my money, my trust, my love, just to make another man jealous. I felt my chest tighten with anger and pain. So all this, everything we had, it was just to prove a point to him? I asked, my voice low and shaking. She sobbed harder, covering her face with her hands. At that moment, I felt empty inside. I walked to the kitchen counter and picked up the envelope I had prepared earlier. I tossed it onto the couch next to her. She looked at it through tear-filled eyes and slowly opened it. Inside were the keys she left behind, her deactivated credit card, and a note with just 3 words written in my shaky handwriting: repossess it. I'm done. She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. Where will I go? Please, don't do this. I took a deep breath, fighting back my own tears. That's not my problem anymore. As I turned to leave, her phone buzzed again. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Tyler's new message. You coming over tonight or staying with him? For a moment, she just stared at it, frozen. And right then I realized I was never her home. I was just her shelter until she found her way back to him. I walked out of the apartment without looking back, feeling the evening breeze hit my face as I stepped outside. It felt cold, but somehow, it calmed me. I stood there for a moment, taking a deep breath, thinking about everything that just happened. I never imagined it would end like this. 8 months ago, I thought I found the woman I would marry. Today, I realized I was just a placeholder in her story. When I reached my car, I sat quietly, staring at the steering wheel. My phone buzzed with messages from her, each one filled with desperate apologies and promises that she would change, that it was all a mistake. But I didn't open them. I knew if I read her words, I'd only feel worse. I thought about Tyler's message again. It made everything so clear. She never let go of him. She was just using me to fill a void that wasn't mine to fix. As I started the engine, I felt a strange sense of freedom. Painful, yes, but freeing. I realized I had spent so much time trying to be her savior, thinking my love could heal her past. But some people don't want to be healed. They just want someone to carry their broken pieces without ever gluing them back together. That night, I drove to my brother's house and crashed on his couch. I told him everything. He didn't say much, just sat there with me in silence, letting me feel what I needed to feel. Before falling asleep, I thought about one thing: I would never let myself be someone's backup plan again. Life is short. Love is meant to feel safe, not like a battle to prove your worth every day. And as I closed my eyes, I knew this heartbreak wasn't my ending. It was the start of finally choosing myself.